Good evening, everybody. Another Saturday night here in Appalachia. Very warm, smuggy Saturday night. And 2 days after the solstice, 1 day after the full moon. And just wanted to comment about what we see in our world on a daily basis. I've talked before about the news, about how I don't have cable TV, so I don't watch the news. But I do have Facebook and Twitter feeds I glance at during the day. And it's very interesting, the dichotomy that I've set up. My Twitter feed has a lot of the non-mainstream news. So a lot of what's going on with the jabs and all the injuries, what's going on with water shutoffs in Idaho, what's going on with cattle ranchers and directed energy weapons in Maui and all kinds of other interesting things. And just basically it shows the citizen journalists who are reporting on a lot of the evil that is in our world. And there's a lot of evil. Child trafficking, pedophilia, all the things that don't make the news every day. I always wondered why, when we have tens of thousands of children go missing every year, according to the statistics, why is this not front and center? Because the people who control the news don't want it to be front and center. They would rather have you focus on Trump or Biden or whatever. But the really important stuff, your constitutional rights that are being trampled, such as the water shutoffs in Idaho, those don't get the news coverage, but they do, thankfully, through the internet and through citizen journalists. So that's my Twitter feed, more or less. There's always some interesting things out there. A lot of people saying some interesting things, interesting ideas. Real groundswell happening, and that's a good thing. A groundswell against the tyranny, the tyrannical actions of the World Economic Forum and the World Homicide Organization, otherwise known as the WHO, the Bilderbergers and all those Club of Rome and all those groups that I used to read about back in the 90s. All of that's coming to the forefront, slowly but surely. One by one, people are awakening. And then I go to the Facebook feed, and it's a lot of love and light. It's a lot of people talking about ascension, spirituality, finding soulmates, things like that. A lot of great poets on Facebook. A lot of great poets. Yeah. So I think one woman uses the name Ravenwood, or another one is Gemma Starr, and just excellent stuff. Very interesting to read, very fun to read. But what I was thinking about in all this is that as warriors that we are, that we ought to be, we do not, as spiritual warriors, galactic warriors, we do not go looking for a fight, okay? But there is going to come a time, it looks that way anyway, because there is no savior coming. Trump is not your savior. RFK Jr. is not your savior. There is no savior coming. So there's going to come a time when we are going to have to stand up and turn this world around for the good. We are going to have to stand up and be counted on. We're going to have to stand up and impose our will against this tyranny that we're watching every day. And every day they're making moves. It's a new move every day. Okay, and they've openly said what their plan is. This is depopulation of the Western world. And someday soon we may have to stand up and be counted on. Stand up for our God-given rights. The right to be free. The right for free association. That day may be coming. I don't know if it'll be in my lifetime, but it kind of looks that way. The way things are going over the next 4 to 6 years, we'll find out. Since their agenda is called Agenda 2030, that means 5.5 years from now, we'll have to stand up and say, no, I will not comply. I will not comply with this. I will not comply with your eating insects. I will not comply with your 15-minute cities. As you see, the destruction of certain farms and agriculture and cattle and pigs and chickens, and it's just despicable. One of the interesting things about that, though, is farms that a lot of the farms they're destroying are factory farms, from what I can tell. I haven't researched it. It's just what I see go by. But if that's true, it's an unfortunate way of changing things, but getting away from factory farms is a good thing, but not in that way. There are better ways to do that. But all of us need to prepare to be the warrior that we are. And that is the spiritual warrior, the warrior that is prepared but does not look for the fight. We'll have to wait for the fight to come to us. Our politicians aren't going to do it. I commented to somebody the other day on Twitter about talking about the election, and the election seems to always focus on who's going to be president. Well, the president has very little power. Constitutionally, the legislative branch, the Congress, has the most power, followed by the judicial branch, the Supreme Court, followed by the executive branch. It's actually supposed to be the weakest of the three. And since most of the federal agencies do not report to the president, and you can see this list on Wikipedia, go look for federal agencies, the U.S. government, they do not report to the executive. So the president has very little power. It's really just a puppet, as we're seeing with the current one, who couldn't find his ass with both hands. And that doesn't mean that I like Trump or RFK Jr., because I don't. I think they're all misguided and they're all puppets. We need to expose the puppeteers. They're in the shadows. But if we're going to change things peacefully, then it would have to be done through the Congress. But the Congress is completely corrupt right now, completely bought off. Many of them are corrupted through things like Epstein Island. Even the judicial branch has that problem. So, if we can't do it through the ballot box, we're going to have to do it another way. And that time may be coming. We'll just have to wait and see. But we just have to be prepared to not comply. And that's going to be a tough one if it happens. So with that, as my neighbor turns up his saw, I will say goodbye. Until the next time, just be the warrior. Be the warrior that you are. Just be prepared. But meanwhile, just enjoy life. Enjoy every day. Express gratitude every day for this and this. And everything will be all right. Aho.